cold as a razor blade.
Back for another episode of the Snake Pit, and of course I'm joined by the legendary Jake the Snake Roberts. But if you're watching here on YouTube, you can see that we're joined by a masked man who I'll get him to identify himself. Who is this masked man?
I'm the oldest masked man in professional wrestling. Okay, the Grappler.
Man, none other than the legendary grappler, Len Denton. And just to kind of set things up here, I had met Len while I was out in Iowa for the Hall of Fame weekend, introduced myself, we exchanged numbers, and I knew that he was somebody I had to bring on the show because of the way that I hear Jake talk about him all the time, the amount of respect that Jake has for him and the history that they have together. So, Mr. Denton, I am just so thrilled to have you here.
Hey, thanks for having me, brother. And when you mention Jake's name, Jake always puts me over everywhere, and I do the same for him. And he's a brother from way, way back, man. We went through a lot of trials, all kind of stuff in Mid-South and struggling, trying to make it in the business. And Jake was always there for me. I love Jake to death, man.
Same here, man. I got all the respect in the world for Len Denton, brother.
Same for you, my brother. Same for you.
He never got what he deserved. That's for damn sure.
Hey, Jake, I got to ask you something, though, boss, okay? I talked to John Nord, the Berserker, yesterday, okay?
Okay.
And I told him I was coming on the Snake Pit. And he said, well, you tell Jake, remind Jake about that show in the Superdome when Muhammad Ali was there. He said, I didn't take a bump from Muhammad Ali, but Jake did, right?
Bullshit.
He said, I had to hit you with that one.
Yeah. He flew his ass all over the ring. I never took a bump.
I know. I was there. I seen it. I remember.
Yeah.
It was crazy. He said, and he was going, you tell Jake that it was a struggle, he said, but I helped him a lot in Mid-South. He's came a long way. I go, really? He said, you got to tell him, man. You got to tell him, man. I said, okay, I will.
Man, thank God for John Nord. We would have never had Jake the Snake Roberts without him.
Yeah, really, no kidding. I swear to God, the first time I seen Jake, we're in interviews and Nord come walking in. I said, and I never some big gigantic guys, about 300 pounds, all muscles, and I went 6'6" or whatever he was, and I go, please God, let him be a heel, right? Because I didn't want to have to work with him. I could tell the way he walked, he was green, right? And it wasn't 30 minutes, I'll look over and Jake shaving his head. I went, holy cow. I laughed so hard. I said, he's already ribbing the guy. Right in the interview.
Jake meant
up haircut, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Jake mentioned before that he gave him a haircut and it was his idea to do the haircut. I didn't realize he did it that fast. That is incredible.
I mean, we were in interviews, and he goes, okay, let's do it. And he shaved him. I go, holy cow. I was laughing so hard. I said, what a rib.
Well, I want to get into the history between the two of you a little bit. But before we do, I think what you just said is the perfect segue into a story that Jake told here on the podcast before about playing a little rib on you while the two of you were in the ring together. Len, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about because I'm pretty dang sure because we did a show, we did TV, 2 tapes, and of course, I think we drove in from Tulsa, was 360 miles. And so we got there about 3 or 4 in the morning. We had to be ready, maybe 4 o'clock. We got in Shreveport, we got to be ready for TV at 8, be in there at 7 getting dressed. So, we slept in the car, we're all burned out. And then Bill comes in, hey, come on, I want to see assholes and elbows and all this. I got here, I had to come here today too, but he flew his charter plane, We drove all the way. So we do 2 tapes. Now we got to drive to, I think it was Houma, Louisiana, if I'm right. And I got Jake, right? I forget what match, but they had this stuff. I look at and see Jake when he got in the ring, he had his fingers taped up with gauze on him. I said, man, maybe he broke his finger on TV. Stuff like that happens, right? I didn't think nothing about it. So we get in the ring and we lock up and Jake starts shooting around, pushing hard. I go, hey, he's up, man, damn. What he was doing was trying to get me breathing hard. I go, man, come on. I'm already blown up from this morning, man. And all the driving, he does, Jake, loosen up. And he starts laughing. He looks at me, he locks up, backs me in the ropes. And he had this stuff that I think it was called amyl nitrate. All the bodybuilders would sniff it when they're going to squat and all that. brother, he grabbed me around the nose and mouth and covered me and hooked me where I could get loose. I'm like kicking, squirming. I finally got loose. I rolled out on the floor and what the hell? I look up and Jake Roberts and Jack Howell, the referee, were laughing so hard. He said, you were beat red we had the mask on from the neck down to your tights. It was glowing red, just glowing. I said, God, brother, I was like spinning, dude. I couldn't believe it.
That was funnier than shit.
Oh my gosh.
I know, man. So what the hell was that?
Put it on his own mouth.
It was
Man,
good.
one of my favorite stories, among the many stories he's had about you over the course of he and I doing this podcast. And, I guess we'll dial it back to the beginning. Len, do you remember the first time that you crossed paths with Jake?
I remember it was in Mid-South. I mean, it was like, I don't know how old Jake was. I was like 18 or 19. Jake was, I don't know how, pretty close to the same age. He was tall and skinny, and I was skinny and short at the time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, brother, I have to say, I mean, Jake was like a night off in the ring. He's in that, he was in that great worker. And it's like every time I had Jake, we could be a ribbon and have a hell of a match. You know what I mean? He's like, you're like Murdoch. He just got there to have you laughing your ass off to have a hell of a match at the same time. You know what I mean? It was like so easy,
Now, Jake, do you remember your first encounter with Len by any chance?
I thought he was bringing us sandwiches.
No shit. I'm carrying the ring jackets, really. Yeah, when I went in, see, my first territory was Amarillo. I went for the Punks, right? And Nick Kozak was a referee here in Houston, and the guy that trained me, they were buddies. And so he talked to Jerry Kozak, which is running towns, spot shows and stuff for the Punks, right? And it got me booked. First day on TV, I got fired. They said, you're too small. You'll never make it in this business. You're too late. Like, look at all these guys. You got Abdullah, Sweet Hansen, Cyclone Negro, all these huge guys in the dressing room. I was about 178, 5'10". And so then I wrote a letter to Dory. I got fired. They give me 2 weeks to referee and wrestle a little bit. I wrote a letter to Dory Funk Jr. I guess he felt sorry for me. He called Watts and he got me booked to Mid-South 2 weeks later. And that's where I met Jake. I was like 178 pounds. And then I started taking some real strong vitamins, real strong ones, you know what I mean? And I started gaining weight. Dang, you never know it. It took me a long way.
You're going to have to tell me about those vitamins. I'm trying to put on a little.
I hear you, brother. Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's the truth. I was over there, and, they work, Watson worked you every day, twice on Sunday, And so I was about probably 8 months before I got a chance to come back to Houston, home to visit my folks. And I came back, it's no kidding. I got back home a day early than I told them. And I walked in, it's about 2 o'clock, before 3 o'clock, my mom was cooking supper for my dad to come in from work. He was gone. I walked in, she's in the kitchen. She looked up and seen me. She took off running for the back door. I said, Mama, she was turned around and said, Len, I had a full beard and I gained 40 pounds. She didn't know who the hell I was. It's a true story. She stopped at the screen door, turned around and said, Len, I said, Mama, where are you going? She goes, oh my God, it's you.
I guess those vitamins were working.
I had so much road wear from working with Jake the Snake, getting potatoed and hell beat out of me. I looked so bad when I walked in.
Yeah, ass.
Now, I know that Jake would first come to Mid-South. I believe it would be late 1979 and into 1980 would have been his first run there. And I'm guessing that's when the two of you had first crossed paths. And Jake, were you the ring veteran between the two of you at the time?
If I was, I didn't know it. Yeah, I believe he was actually. But I just want to ask. I was thinking about this, Jake. I wanted to ask you. I'm sure you're probably gonna bring it up about the DDT. Okay. Now, you said it was in Laranja we did it the first time, right? When we slipped and all that.
Was it New Orleans or Laranja?
I thought you said Laranja. I think we were, but I don't remember. But I remember this distinctly. You added to it with a big slap on the back, knee lift, and then you slap on the back when you. I said, damn, Jake, the slaps are killing me. DDT's cool. But I remember Lake Charles one time. That's what I always tell. I said, I remember you slapped my pot real good, and we hit at the same time, and the whole crowd went whoa. And I remember us talking about. I said, brother, you need to use that for a finish.
Yeah.
You know, you were just high using our hospital. But then it worked out fantastic. I mean, damn, everybody in the world got 500 different ones now, but that originals is still the one to go to. You know what I mean? It's a fantastic deal. Yeah, it was great.
Still works.
It does, yeah.
Now, Len, do you remember, we've talked to Jake about it here before, but I'd love to hear your perspective. The circumstances were that Jake had you hooked in a front face lock, right? And just fell?
Well, here's what happened. Okay, here's the deal. I was, when I came into Mid-South, I was first a rookie and all that, left, had to go on the road, and I got bigger. I come back and got the break and got a chance to work as a top heel, right? For Buck Roby brought me back in, and him and Watts. And what I'd done is they said, listen, here's the thing. We don't want you going no less, because we got at the top of the marquee, Bill Watts said, top of the marquee says professional wrestling. He goes, he said, I got, the Freebirds in here. I got Abdullah come in, Brody, everyone. I got all the furniture movers I need. I need a guy that can wrestle, and I want you to go no less than 30 minutes every night. And so I go, and man, it was in the summer. I lost 30 pounds in about 2 months, and they got babyface to see my name next to theirs. They go, oh, hell. Now I got to work 30 minutes at least, right? But me and Jake were doing one of them matches, and I said Jake was working the front face lock, so I'd sit out and get up, hit a tackle, drop down, whatever spot we do, knee lift, get it back. So now about 20 or so minutes in, we're sweating like hell. He went to grab it real quick, and we slipped, and we went down. Boom, it popped. I mean, it was perfect. And he said, I remember Jake going, damn, did you hear that? I said, hell yeah, they popped like hell. He said, do it again. And so we did it again. Then he perfected it and named it and all that. But it was just a thing I just happened to fall into accidentally with him. You know what I mean? But it worked out great. Then he made it a move, and he named it. He made it what it is today. But I'm saying it was a slip and an accident, but it was like, damn, listen to that, bro. The crowd popped like hell. Yeah.
Okay, guys, got to hit the pause button here. I've got to tell you about Green Chef. Look, it's back to school season, and you know that can set you back on your nutrition. All of a sudden, you're very busy. The kids are coming home late. You've got different events that you've got to go to. And so what falls by the wayside? Your diet, right? You end up going to fast food. You end up taking little shortcuts here and there. And all of a sudden, all the progress that you've made is gone. Well, look, Green Chef is here, and they're going to make it easy to stick to your healthy eating habits with a new, more flexible menu featuring over 35 customizable recipe options every single week. New options including doubling your portion of protein or veggies or swapping to a plant-based protein like organic tofu, which I love. If you're dairy-free, gluten-free, vegetarian, or vegan, Green Chef has got over 15 recipes every week to support those lifestyles and much more. You'll also find over 15 weekly recipes that are ready in 25 minutes or less, so you'll have the power to tailor the menu to your needs, satisfying and nourishing everyone in your family in about 30 minutes. I mean, how critical is that when it comes to being able to save on time? 25 minutes to prep a meal for everybody, you cannot beat it. You can take your clean routine further with 2 times the support. Green Chef's healthiest menu ever and access to thousands of top-rated gyms and fitness studios worldwide from ClassPass. For a limited time, new Green Chef subscribers will also receive 50 free credits to use at ClassPass. That's about a month's worth of membership. And guys, if you're like me, you're trying to dial in your diet and your physique, right? And they say that if you really want to have a good physique, diet's like 80% of it. So you really got to watch what you're putting into your body, and you've got to have access to a gym. And this is both of them. If you are not trying Green Chef, there has literally never been a better time to do it. You guys have got to take advantage of this. Also, if you're trying to pack on some muscle like me, customers have the option to upgrade to proteins. You can get organic chicken, fair trade barramundi, and wild-caught sockeye salmon. You've got that on top of quality whole foods with limited processed ingredients and organic farm fresh produce in every box. I mean, it's no wonder that Green Chef is a #1 meal kit for clean eating. I mean, who says that eating clean can't taste good, right? Green Chef recipes are going to have you swooning with every bite. Green Chef has over 80 weekly menu and market options to satisfy everybody's taste buds. Each box is packed with foods that you can feel good about, like whole fruits and vegetables, plus lean protein and whole grain options. All of that on top of the fact that it's just fun to make. You know, I've said this before on the show, and it's true. My wife and I honestly look forward to kind of partnering up to put these meals together. She'll take one duty, I'll take another duty, and we kind of meet in the middle, and it's fun. You know, she's been watching that show on FX, The Bear, where it's everybody saying yes, chef to each other, and we'll goof around with each other, shouting yes, chef in the kitchen as we're putting these meals together. And it's just a really fun experience, a great way to unwind after a busy work day. And then, boom, you get a delicious, healthy meal at the end of it all. It's time for you guys to find out what I'm talking about. Go to greenchef.com/snakepit50 for 50% off your first box plus 50 free credits with ClassPass. That's code SnakePit50 at greenchef.com/snakepit50 to get 50% off your first box plus 50 free ClassPass credits. Seriously, guys, even just one time, you want to give this product a try. I know that you guys are going to love it like I do, and you're going to find out for yourselves why Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. Man, unbelievably cool that the two of you are there. I mean, seriously, when wrestling history is made, it's still called the DDT today and still used. We see it every single time wrestling's on TV. So cool that you guys are there for the very first one.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, it's something else. We weren't even thinking nothing like that when we did it. Jake just said, hell of a finish. Sorry, somebody's calling me. But that's a hell of a finish move, you know. And he said, I think it worked out great, you know.
Now, you had mentioned that it was the Funks who had said that maybe you were a little bit too small, 5'10", which, you know, that's nothing in wrestling today. Most guys are that size, smaller, you know, larger. It all varies. But back then, I know that was a big thing, was your size. I know that Bill Watts was a guy who was like really kind of all about size, but Bill didn't mind your size as long as you were going to be working these long, kind of intricate matches.
Here's what happened when I got that boot. You know, that boot was like 2-inch sole, so they had to put a sole on the inside to match it so it wouldn't kill my back. I had to get used to wearing them heavier boots. But I swear, the one time I always appreciate this. Remember the big cat Ernie Ladd, right?
Yes.
I went out one time. I might have been working with Jake. Went about 30 minutes, and we just we had a hell of a match. You know what I mean? And I come back. And the guys, remember Kamala and James and those guys, they used to rib me all the time. Said, man, you didn't get over your little midget. You ain't never going to draw no money, you little midget. You know, Jack with me all the time. And I already heard him saying that to me, messing around. When I come back, he goes, hey, you see that guy right there? When he puts that boot on, he's 6 foot, any man's world. So I appreciate Ernie saying that about me, you know, to them guys. But yeah, I used to get ribbed all the time for being short, you know. I'm going to take this thing off, brother. The only guy that unmasked me is on the snake pit, Jake Roberts. He unmasked my ass. Put it back on. I knew you were going to say that.
There it is, the official unmasking of the grappler here on the snake
pit. The snake pit, baby.
Now, I know that you guys would work a ton while Jake had his first run there in Mid-South, but then Jake jumped ship from Mid-South to Charlotte, and you do too at the same time. Do you remember what happened there?
Yeah, well, I was kind of that's a long story, but what really happened was with me was that my dad was running towns. He loved wrestling, right? So I told him to stay away from it. You know, these guys, you're gonna get conned. You ain't gonna make no money trying to be a promoter. But he got a ring, and he was running towns for the Blanchards over there in Southwest Championship Wrestling for a while. And so then he started running his own towns in Texas. But he was what he would do is he'd run a town where Watts' TV overlapped, and so he booked me in this town because I was the main event for Watts. Well, Bill said, that's bullshit. Well, you know, so I'm spending the money on TV. I'm making you a name, and you're taking advantage of it with your daddy over here. I said, Bill, it's my dad. So we got in a big argument about that. So one day Watts says, hey, you want to work? So you're going to choose me or you're going to choose your dad? I said, that's the dumbest question. I said, I think I'd choose my dad. What do you think, Bill? And so he goes, okay, it's time for you to go. And so we had so I go, okay. So he came and he said, I'll let you know when the date is. So he come back in about 2 or 3 days. He said, I got a date for you. You start in Charlotte. You and Super Destroyer are going to go to Charlotte. They're going to put the world straps on you. You're going to work an angle with the Young Bloods. And he said, then, you know, from there, and then that way you'd be out of my hair with you and your dad and all that bunch of shit, right? So, okay, man. But what it was a setup. I went there, and Ole was booking. And Ole, brother, I never even passed the third match. And I went into Ole after about 2 months, and I threw my check down. It was like $500. We done drove 3,000 miles. I think it was 350 or $400. I went, Ole, I said, let me tell you something, asshole. I can't feed my family on that shit. And he goes, well, let them starve. And I jumped up. He said, you can come across the desk and start kicking the hell out of me or fighting, but it ain't going to get nothing. You shouldn't have screwed Watts over. The whole thing was about that. So I gave my notice, and it took me about 4 years to finally get back to working on top. I got that break and went out to Portland. Was a booker. Well, I was a booker for Harley Race and Geigel in Kansas City. Then I moved on. I went to Portland, but I never bought Watts. He made me pay for that mistake. You know what I mean? He said, there was just one. My dad, I couldn't compete. He wouldn't listen. I don't give a shit what belt. He was a hardhead too. So I kind of got stuck in that situation. You know what I mean?
That is a crazy backstory. Jake, is that ringing a bell for you now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I
Wow.
heard coming to Charlotte, and they didn't give him shit, man.
No.
I was lobbying with him,
Yeah.
Let me work with Grappler. Oh, we got something for him.
Yeah, they weren't doing nothing. They had plans for me, all right. That was all from Bill, Jake. I found out in the long run, And Ole admitted it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a sorry son of a bitch, that's for sure.
Yeah, for that bullshit, he cost me a lot of money,
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, man. That is wild.
Yeah.
Now, Jake, you're going to bat for the Grappler, and obviously you'd had some experience with him, there in Mid-South on your way here to Charlotte. You're from the old school, obviously your father was a giant of a man. You're a huge man yourself. What did you think about getting in there and working with, selling for a smaller guy at the time in Len?
Well, pretty easy if you just get there and work with the guy. He's fitness. The height doesn't matter.
Jake knows how to work with anyone. Whatever the Andre the Giant to the mid, he can work with little Tokyo the midget, the wrestling midget. I mean, he just finds when it's time for heat, he knows what the midget might do or who'd got what I might do to his vulnerability. And the other time he just shines. He knows how to work with anyone. But Jake Roberts can work with a broom, dude. I guarantee you.
I've done it, but the broom beat me.
Yeah, I know. He told me that before. That's what made me think of. I know he can the broom go over and it still pop.
Yep, knocked me.
Incredible. And Len, I'll ask you, as a smaller man, what is the trick? If you're going to be a heel as a man that's 5'10", what's the trick? How do you
Well,
get it
brother,
over?
here was my deal. Okay, I had I tell this on my one-man show. I go, people ask me why I wear a mask. Okay, and the reason was I was so good looking when I went to the ring, you couldn't keep the girls from throwing their bra and panties in the ring. I said, no, I made all that up. The truth is this: I got a plain face. I ain't ugly enough to screw nobody, and good looking enough to draw no women. So I can wrestle good and talk good on TV, and had all the high spots down, all the storylines and all that. But I needed a character. When they put the mask on me, all right, they gave me a character. They gave me that boot for a weapon, and that made the whole storyline. You could be. One time, this is a true story. One time we were working a 6-man tag in a spot show. It's me and Orton Jr. and I forget who else against. I remember Orndorff, Junkyard Dog, and Andre the Giant in a spot show for Watts. It was, high school. It was just boom. Andre's in for the 2-week tour around the territory, and so we did high spots, flew all over to start the match, and then of course, we thinking, well, Orndorff will get heat on him. So I nailed Orndorff, he nailed me back. I headbutt me back. I kicked him in the nuts, he kicked me back, and he wouldn't sell nothing. I said, tag dog. He tagged dog. Dog's doing the same thing. He ain't selling anything. Finally, Andre goes, tag me. I swear it's a true story. They tagged him in. He goes, bat me in the corner when the referee parts us, load boot, and kick me. I kicked him in the gut. He took 3 steps out and went, and dropped on his face. The crowd got silent. Dude, we got heat on Andre for the hot tag. Can you believe that? And when he went to the back, the Junkyard Dog and Orndorff, they heard, believe me, Andre chewed their ass out. You ignorant prima donna marks. Yeah. We had to get the heat on the Giant. What's wrong with you idiots? But that's what that's what made That's what it was like, because you just learn how to tell. Like the question, what was the question you asked me? I went to talking about that story.
It's how you get yourself over as a guy who's not a huge heel.
Well, like I'm saying, with that, you have a gimmick, or you have something that will make you stand out. Like I had the loaded boot. When I went to the loaded boot, you can ask Jake. I almost got shot in New Orleans over there. Take a guy down here, 357 Magnum at ringside. Cops saved my life over that boot. It wasn't because I was a big tough son. I was a cheater. But there's the thing. You don't get over unless a babyface can get you over it, and they know how to sell right. You know what I mean? And Jake had that quality. He knew that. You know what I mean? He knew that if he's going to beat somebody, whatever he's doing, he had to make it look like an opponent, not go out there and just smash the guy and then go home. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay, everybody, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. NFL Week 1 is here, and the new season means new ways to get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Ready to place your first bet? You know I'm going to be betting on my Dallas Cowboys. They're plus 2.5 against the Cleveland Browns. Or how about those pesky Green Bay Packers against the Philadelphia Eagles? They're at plus 2.5. Or hey, you could just try betting on something simple, like picking a player to score a touchdown. I mean, aren't you ready to do a little touchdown dance of your own? Come on, guys. It is time to score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the best place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SNAKEPIT. That's code SNAKEPIT for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. And get this, you also get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium on us. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms. And watching back the matches, it's that you guys have really competitive, fun, engaging matches. I always enjoyed watching your work, and it makes me wonder. You had this issue with Bill Watts, and then that turned into an issue with Ole. Later on, you're back in Watts' territory, aren't you?
He brought me back as a grappler, and I guess he thought I learned my lesson, and he put me with Tony Anthony as the grapplers and made a tag team, which that worked well. We went all over the country doing that. Then we even came back later as the Dirty White Boys, but I didn't like that gimmick. I mean, it was good for Memphis. What's his name? Mouth of the South. Jimmy Hart, he came up with that gimmick and got us booked there in we did that in Memphis, but when we went to Mid-South, Watts' idea was you're a biker now. You need to go on the interviews and have grease all over your face and arms like you've been working on your bike. I went, bro, that ain't me, okay? That's not me. When you get on TV to portray yourself as a heel or a face, it has to be something that comes from your heart to get over. Like, I can go in there and talk about what a great wrestler I am because I'm more prone to being an athlete. I'm not no biker. I didn't even know how to carry that gimmick right, the way he wanted it. So Watts, we didn't last too long with that Dirty White Boy gimmick. The Grapplers got a pretty good run with that, though.
Yeah, I do remember that run of you guys as the Grapplers, and I believe that you would have been in that territory up until when Jake actually came back himself. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I was there. He came back. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Jake is there for a while, and then he's off to the WWF in 1986. When you see him go, and guys like DiBiase, Junkyard Dog goes up there, did you think about picking up the phone, trying to call the office up there?
I went to Portland, Oregon, was booking for Don Owens, right? And it was easy territory. I mean, it made good money, got a good guarantee and everything. And then me and Piper have been friends, Roddy Piper, for a long time. He wanted to open a business in town, so we ended up opening an automotive shop. And then I was there about a year, and I promised Piper that I would work independent, but I'd stay there and I wouldn't go nowhere because I wanted that business to go, you know. And so Michael Hayes called me twice trying to get me to come in. And I said, brother, I can't. I already gave my word to Roddy, you know. And that's why I didn't go. But then later on, here's the one thing that really, I don't know all what happened behind the backside. This cost me a lot too, was after we've been there about 6 years or so, I done paid the property off. So the business is going. We're making money. And I got in shape and I went for a tryout in WCW. And I went there and my tryout match was Eddie Guerrero. I went, thank you, God. Eddie's so easy to work with, right? And I got to tell you something about that, Jake, and that match, what happened after this. But we had the match, and Bischoff come and told me, he said, listen, how about this? I'll give you a 2-year deal, 150 grand a year, working 10 days a month. I said, where's the paper? Right? Where's the paper? He goes, well, I'll get it in a couple of weeks. And I was in Boston the next week, and Piper gets out of his limo coming in. He goes, I was sitting in the car. I wasn't even working that night. I was in between shots. I was just riding with the guys. He goes, what are you? I was in a parking lot downstairs. He goes, sitting in the car. He goes, what are you doing here? I said, I'm working tomorrow night. He goes, for WCW? Yes. He didn't even know I went and tried out. He goes, and so after that, they would, every time I'd ask them about the contract, they'd send me a booking sheet, but they didn't want to talk. Bischoff busy, this or that. Finally, I told Terry Taylor at the Universal Studios taping, I said, tell Bischoff to either get the contract done or forget it, because I ain't got time for this, you know. And that was the last booking sheet I got. Now, I don't know if Piper cut it off or who cut it off, but somebody cut it off. And that was like 2-year deal, and it didn't work out. But I don't know. And he already told me face to face, great match. Don't worry about it. I'm getting you a contract. So I don't know what happened from there. Who knows, right? But what I was going to tell you about the match, Jake, was Eddie come to me, and it's like it was on that Saturday TV, which you can get more time. So we went about 15 or so minutes on that TV, on TV. Match is a long time for a TV match. He goes, at the end, I'm going to turnbuckle you, jump on the second turnbuckle, and front pace like it, walk out 2 steps and swing me through, you know, to your side, and I'll DDT you, then come off, set you up, come off with a frog splash. He said, can you do that move? I said, brother, I invented the DDT. What do you mean can I do that move? And I'm laughing, right? Brother, I never done that move. When I stepped like that, he held on, and I don't know what happened, but I hit the mat and knocked me out. I bit my tongue hat in half in the back and tore my ear a little bit just away from the scalp. It knocked the hell out of me.
Holy shit.
I said, well, maybe I should have practiced this move one time.
Yeah.
But I didn't tell nobody. I woke up, he was frog splashing me. You know what I mean? Damn, everybody's called me that. That's Tony Anthony. That's Tony Anthony right there calling.
Oh, man. The other grappler calling in.
Yeah, he's called, yeah. He must have heard Jake's on here. He must have bullshit Jake.
Now, Jake, I'm taking all the questions. Do you have any questions as we move along for Len?
Yeah, I want to ask you when we're going fishing again.
Brother, whenever you're ready, Bubba. Hey, listen, I just saw I lost 80 pounds, and I actually can carry some fish now. I'm all in shape, ready. Hey, I'm ready for wrestle again. I got a match September 14th in Greenwood, Arkansas against Ricky Morton, him and his son, the Rock and Roll Express. I got, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, me and another guy, Joe Kane, he's called Grappler 3. He's got a loaded boot. I don't even have to carry the boot no more.
That's incredible. You got a match coming up.
Got one coming up. Yeah, I'm down to 195 pounds, man.
Dude, good for
you. I was weighing 280 too.
That is incredible. So where's that match happening again? What city?
Greenwood, Arkansas. In 2 weeks.
All right.
Not this coming Saturday, the following. Yeah.
I'll get with you about it after the show, and we can post about it on social media. That's incredible. Now, I did also see that while you were in WCW, I actually watched this match right before we got going here. You had a match with Goldberg right before he became the man in WCW. See, that's where I knew I was done, too. I was in Kansas City, and they come in. They had me booked with this off-TV match with this gigantic, the black guy. I don't know his name. I never seen him again, but, brother, he was bigger than Hogan, dude. I don't know where they got this guy. Ice
Train?
Train?
And then I don't know. I don't remember his name. I just seen him the one time. I went over when I seen him. They said, you got him on an off TV match. I went over, so I better talk to this guy because he looks really, really green, right? And so I was sitting down to talk to him, and that's when they come in, Sullivan, thank God, God bless him. Him and Jimmy Hart and the other agents said, they need to talk to you in the room over here. And when I opened the door and there's Goldberg sitting in a chair, I went, here you go, I'm done. I knew around seeing him, you know. But it was everybody's seen that match on YouTube, but it was easy, you know. He wasn't that. I told him, he said, when I come with that spear and all that, he goes just like, I come with it. I said, brother, I want you to. It's on TV, but I said, just remember something. Those old timers we were taught from the get. If you rotate me, they come in pairs. Okay, remember that. he goes, I got you. Yeah, he was good. You know, it was easy. Yeah.
And really cool to watch back that match, and especially because he really is on the ascent. And just a couple months later, it's okay. He's the champion, and we're off to the races with Goldberg. So you're right in the middle of the action there. Now, you had mentioned taking the DDT from Eddie as compared to Jake. With Jake, what was the trick to taking Jake's DDT the correct way?
Well, me and Jake, we had good time in everything we did. Eddie was coming off the top, and I don't know what I would have done to change it because I don't know if he held on too long or he didn't leave. I don't know what happened. Apparently, he must have held on too long, but Jake knows how to protect you and do it and make it still look fantastic. We just had good timing, but me and Eddie did too. But that one particular move was just I don't know. I really don't know what happened, but I know it knocked the hell out of me.
Now, Len, following WCW, and I know that you would make some independent dates and stuff like that, and then it's kind of some blank spots throughout. What was going on with you in your life in between?
Was doing the shop, running that shop, and then I opened one up in Texas too, me and my brother. Okay. And so I had two businesses going at the same time. So I had my two automotive shops going at the same time. So my hands were pretty full, as far as wrestling, at that time,
And saw that you had a match back in 2023 when I was doing the research. So what are you doing right now? You said you got a match coming up, and this will be my final question for this week. You say you got a match coming up. What are you doing right now to keep yourself ready, ring ready?
Well, brother, I've been when I come out of that thing, they thought it was a misdiagnosis. They thought I had COPD, but they found out I didn't. But which thank God I don't have to use that breathing machine at night and all that anymore. But what I don't see, I got heart arrhythmia, and I think every wrestler does. Jake's probably got it too. Everybody's got heart arrhythmia. So they go, we can't give you a Zebo with a shot or nothing for diet. And I was up 285. I said, so if you can't give me, he said, we give you the shot or anything for appetite suppressant. It's your heart. We can't do that. I go, well, so what? My heart's bad, so I'm just going to keep getting fat and die that way. So is that what you're saying? So I said, why don't we take a chance? But they won't do it. So he said, you're just going to have to. So what I did, a lot of prayers, and thank God, I didn't know if I still had it in me at this age, but I just hit the gym, started doing cardio twice a day, and I got a called Fitness Pal or something, an app on my phone, and started watching calories. And a lot really helped me was cutting out a lot of sodium. Total, I don't know salt. I use this thing called Celtic salt, which done to retain water, and it just made all the difference. And once it started clicking,
And God bless you. It's really cool to hear that you're getting back into the ring. Now, are you going to be taking any bumps, or are you going to be only giving bumps when you're getting into the ring again?
I'm probably going to try to just give them mainly.
That's a wise choice. And I know it was a damn sure a wise choice to bring you on the show. It was really awesome to have you join Jake and I, man.
I love it, man.
Yeah, and look, I'll be in touch with you. I'd love to do more stuff with you here down the road, and we can make that happen. But yeah,
anything with Jake Roberts, you call me, I'm there, brother. Okay, or I'll do whatever you need. You know what I mean?